Johnny Knoxville, and this is my big red rocket.
Number 20. Roller River Jump. Jackass. Jackass star Johnny Knoxville revealed the story behind this injury during a 2019 interview with Vanity Fair's YouTube channel.
You know, I was going to jump the LA River, which sounds fantastic. In reality, it's like it was about a 5-foot section of the LA River.
This one goes all the way back to when the Jackass crew were shooting the pilot episode of their television series. While Knoxville was on roller skates, he attempted to jump over a small section of the LA River. It did not go according to plan. Knoxville took a very ungraceful dive into the water and later emerged with a broken ankle for his trouble. While this stunt may have gone wrong, it was just the beginning. Over the years, Johnny would go for more dangerous stunts and have even worse injuries.
And I'm super uncoordinated, and it ended with a broken ankle.
Number 19. Little Red Wagon and BB Gun. Jackass and Jackass 3D.
None of us wanted to do the BB gun. We were trying to talk you out of the BB gun.
This was your idea?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Steve-O didn't even immediately get to enjoy the fruits of his pain with these two stunts. Neither of them actually aired near the time they were shot. Fortunately, footage later emerged of these painful stunts in 2016. In one clip, Steve-O takes a perilous fall in a Little Red Wagon. An encounter with concrete caused him to lose some skin on his posterior. This unaired clip was paired with another painful stunt. While Steve-O got some pushback, he decided to try and shoot his nipple with a BB gun. The round from that shot went on to be lodged inside of him for his trouble.
This is BB gun nipple piercing. Take 1.
Number 18. Extreme Fails. Jackass the Movie. Skating legend Tony Hawk and pro BMX legend Matt Hoffman joined Bam Margera for this sequence from Jackass the Movie. The trio are set up in supersized suits and attempt to work their athletic magic as best they can while on wheels. Admittedly, the final result is fairly impressive, but not everything goes according to plan. During the shoot, Hoffman takes a dive and ends up being knocked unconscious. He woke up with a broken wrist for his trouble. While the participants on the stunt looked cushioned, Hoffman wasn't protected from the impact. So like many Jackass stunts, don't try this at home. Number 17. The Bungee Wedgie. Jackass the Movie. This is one of the only instances on this list where a stunt going wrong for the Jackass crew actually might have ended up being a good thing.
This isn't gonna work.
It might.
From the start, building a bungee wedgie that hangs from a tree didn't really sound like a 100% solid idea. Even Jackass the Movie director Jeff Tremaine can be seen on camera wondering whether or not it will work. As Rab soon finds out, it doesn't. When he jumps from a tree branch into the apparatus, he just sort of, well, falls. No wedgie. But Rab did wind up naked. So at least there's that.
What's gonna happen here?
I don't know, but it's not what's going to be intended.
Number 16. Tropical Pole Vaulting. Jackass the Movie. If you own the home video release to Jackass the Movie, then you've likely seen the footage that turned Steve-O's Pooh River pole vaulting into the eventual tropical pole vaulting skit. Here, the raw, pardon the pun footage showcases Steve pole vaulting clear into a very gross section of liquid waste and sewage. All manner of sludge can be seen floating in the water. Since Steve-O takes a deep and nasty dive into the stuff, it wasn't surprising to hear there were consequences. He apparently ended up developing a serious infection after the stunt. Who knew that falling in that would be a bad idea?
You recommend that Steve-O pole vault into it?
The only thing he's going to get out of there is maybe an infection. He might land him some debris down there. There's broken glass. No.
Number 15. Motorbike Backflip. Jackass presents Matt Hoffman's tribute to Evel Knievel. This injury is yet another one Johnny Knoxville recalls during the aforementioned video for Vanity Fair.
And I walked over to the medic on set and I said, "Is this all right?" And he said, "Son, we have to get you to the hospital right now."
Here, the Jackass is seeking to backflip a motorbike like the pop culture daredevil Evel Knievel. Everything seems to be going relatively okay during the first few tries. But on the final attempt, the bike shoots high up into the air. It ends up falling between Johnny's legs. Understandably, Knoxville was left dazed from the extremely painful blow. Supportive cast members immediately ran to his attention. While Knoxville gets up under his own power, the stunt mishap left him with a torn urethra. It took nearly 4 years of life with a catheter before he was back at 100%.
Yeah, that was a weird injury.
Number 14. Messing with a bull. Jackass Forever. Jackass Forever wasn't the first time our favorite knuckleheads played with a bull and got the horns. However, it will likely be their last. Actually, make that definitely their last, at least where Johnny Knoxville is concerned. He told Howard Stern in 2022 that the impact was the worst I've taken from a bull, or maybe period. Knoxville was out immediately after getting hit. He further revealed that the incident left him with brain damage.
It's probably the worst bull hit I've ever taken. Spent the weekend in the hospital.
So no bull.
Yeah,
the
no
worst
bull.
yeah.
You know what?
Okay.
Yeah, everything you see is real.
Knoxville's injuries were so severe that he had to take medication to deal with the mental side effects. It's definitely understandable why he wouldn't face down another bull after that. Number 13. Collarbone Break. Jackass Forever. Shot for Jackass Forever, the injury that resulted from this stunt gone wrong didn't make it into the final cut of the film. That's probably a good thing considering the consequences Steve-O suffered.
Hey, Steve-O, how's it feel to be on set 20 years later?
Man, it's pretty heavy, dude.
He revealed during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter that he ended up with a broken collarbone from an unspecified stunt. According to the stuntman, screws were required to keep him together in the wake of the deleted injury. This was unfortunately not the first time Steve-O had injured this area of his body. A clip from the 2001 Don't Try This at Home video showcases him getting a similar injury with similarly painful results.
We have our winners, and we have Steve-O.
Number 12. Marching Band. Jackass Forever. 2022's Jackass Forever proved that aging didn't make any of the core crew and their friends more careful.
Hello, my name's Johnny Knoxville, and this is the marching band.
While the marching band segment looks silly enough on the surface, it left people with resounding pain. Although the costumes and instruments look like they were tons of fun, it got a lot less amusing after they started taking turns jumping on a giant treadmill. Once anyone dares to step on the device, it sends them rocketing into the ground with no protection. Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O seemed to get the worst of it by suffering some scary blows to their head and neck regions. However, anyone trying to run through this stunt was destined to faceplant.
I feel like I'm coming back to myself, but I can't remember nothing.
Number 11. Another cup test. Jackass Forever. Jackass member Aaron McGahee didn't originally try the cup test stunt during the original series.
What are you going to be doing today?
Hit somebody in the nuts.
Back then, Johnny Knoxville had to endure some severe trauma to his nether regions. While he didn't have to be stretchered out after administering the cup test, Aaron sadly wasn't so lucky. It was bad enough when UFC fighter Francis Ngannou was tasked with hitting the stuntman below the belt with a powerful punch. However, the worst of it came when McGahee sustained a blow from a pogo stick. That blow sent him to the hospital with reports that something delicate had been ruptured. In the future, we hope that that part of the cup test is cut from the exam.
I'm starting to think those cups don't work.
Number 10. The Toro Totter. Jackass Number Two. Playing with bulls is no joke.
You all right? Yeah, hold on. What do you mean, hold on? The bull's not going to hold on.
The Toro Totter saw Knoxville, Pontius, Dunn, and Bam on a four-way seesaw.
This is the Toro Totter. It's me and Pontius versus Dunn and Bam, and the last man on the teeter-totter is the winner.
A bull was then released into the ring, prompting them to dodge the raging animal by raising and lowering the seesaw. Unfortunately, it didn't take long for the stunt to go off the rails. Dunn fell off and was immediately chased by the bull, who proceeded to slam into his back. Bam bailed without his partner, and Pontius fell off not long after, leaving Knoxville all by himself with the violent animal. He was thrown around like a rag doll, and it's a miracle that he didn't get seriously hurt. You know it's bad when Pontius isn't laughing, and Steve-O is covering his mouth in shocked concern. Number 9. Bucket Cars. Jackass. The show is positively tame when compared to the movies, but the cast still saw their fair share of injuries. Case in point, bucket cars.
Oh, we're gonna go down this hill in these cars and get all hurt. Are you ready?
This stunt saw Bam and his buddies riding down a hill in wheelbarrow-like carts and going off ramps. Bam was pushed off a shoddy-looking wooden ramp and flew out of the cart, with his back landing on the hard lip on the way down.
Oh, yo, the tailbone is seriously broken. I'm not even kidding.
His pain was obvious, and he immediately declared that his tailbone was broken. Dunn, ever the great friend, simply laughs it off and makes a quip about humans not needing tailbones anymore.
What is he saying, John?
He broke his tailbone. That's all right, we don't have tails anymore. What's the purpose of having one?
Bam's immediate diagnosis was right, as the footage then cuts to him in the hospital receiving a rather crude x-ray depicting his broken tailbone. Number 8. Jet Engine, Jackass 3D. Here, we have the infamous jet engine stunt from Jackass 3D.
I felt like somebody was blowing a fireball in my face.
The premise was simple in execution, but definitely not in budget. Stand behind a jet's powerful exhaust and do silly things, like try to catch a football traveling at Mach 10, or hold an umbrella and jump off a trampoline. That is exactly what Loomis' fall did, and it resulted in a pretty nasty injury. Director Jeff Tremaine told MTV that Fall broke both his hand and collarbone performing the stunt. It's definitely one of the more serious injuries that a Jackass performer has ever endured, which isn't exactly surprising given the nature of the stunt. Number 7. Keep God Out of California, Jackass Number Two. Sometimes a prank fails before it even gets off the ground. In this case, quite literally. Jackass Number Two looked to resurrect the popular Keep God Out of California prank from the show, which sees Pontius dressed as the devil and walking through crowded streets while proclaiming his hate for God.
Keep God out of California! Woo! Tell Charlie Daniels to write a song about this.
The bit begins hilariously enough with Pontius being launched out of a hole. However, he landed on his head and the skit sort of just fell apart.
God, I landed straight on my head. Oh man, that hurt.
Pontius wasn't very committed to the bit, slurred words, and stumbled around while mistaking the number of states.
God is out. He can have the other 48 or 49, whatever.
In the end, he simply stated that he was effed before walking away, ending the skit after 30 seconds. Number 6. Blindfolded skateboarding, Jackass. Skateboarding is dangerous enough. Never mind blindfolded skateboarding.
I'm Danger Aaron, and this is blindfolded skateboarding.
Danger Aaron rides through a skate park while blindfolded and wearing a stunt suit, and while he continually falls, he suffers no serious injuries. That is, until he decides to drop in on a 4-foot vertical ramp.
I'm gonna drop in on this ramp that has 4 feet of vert.
He doesn't so much ride the ramp as he does fall straight to the ground, his full weight bearing down on his right arm. The kid's audible gasps says it all. The footage then cuts to Aaron recovering from the fall, his reddened hand physically twitching. Aaron credits it to the nerves in his hand going haywire. Whatever is causing it, a twitching limb cannot be good. Number 5. Golf Cart Antics, Jackass the Movie. The first movie was significantly crazier than the show, and it didn't take long to prove it. One of the first bits was Golf Cart Antics, which saw Knoxville, Bam, Dunn, and Brandon DiCamillo riding golf carts around an abandoned golf course and performing goofy stunts. Dunn decided to drive over a pig statue, but it ended up flipping the cart and sending both him and Knoxville crashing to the ground. Knoxville got it the worst as he was caught inside the cart and landed on his head.
I have bad news written all over it.
Luckily and somehow, he was not seriously injured in the crash.
I don't know what happened.
Number 4. The Brand, Jackass Number Two. The concept of the brand is simple. Dunn heats up a phallus-shaped branding iron and pushes it into Bam's butt cheek, leaving behind a funny imprint. Unfortunately, Dunn proves way too cautious and Bam jumps around too much, resulting in a slew of different shapes and figures. Dunn ends up branding Bam 4 different times, much to Bam's pain and frustration. Furthermore, the brand ended up giving Bam a nasty infection. When he ends up showing his mother 3 days later, she's so shocked that we'll spare you the gory images. There was really no winning here.
Ape, I got a muffed up ass butt.
I know, and you had the cutest butt ever, and now you ruined it.
Number 3, Department Store Boxing, Jackass the Movie.
I'm Johnny Knoxville.
And I'm Butterbean.
Today we're going to do a little boxing.
For the first movie, Johnny Knoxville decided to take on professional boxer Butterbean inside a random department store. Butterbean has been professionally boxing since 1994, weighs over 370 pounds, and has 58 wins by knockout under his belt. Knoxville is Knoxville. The fight goes as well as one would expect. It lasts mere seconds and ends with Knoxville unconscious, quite literally snoring on the ground. It left him truly dazed, and he can barely comprehend what he's seeing upon waking up. Knoxville later told GQ that he suffered a concussion and experienced vertigo for some time after the fight. At least it gave us one of the all-time great Knoxville lines.
Butterbean okay?
Number 2, Big Red Rocket, Jackass Number Two.
It's moments like these when you know Johnny Knoxville is one gnarly dude.
One of the most memorable stunts in Jackass history, the Big Red Rocket, failed through no fault of a stuntman's own. Rather, Knoxville was nearly taken out via an unfortunate mechanical failure.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is my Big Red Rocket.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
The rocket exploded while taking off, sending a piece of shrapnel hurling out the side and into the water. As Knoxville later shows, the shrapnel was mere inches away from his chest, with a few degrees here making all the difference.
And usually the rockets fell backwards and forwards, I was told, but there was a rocket that came out the side. If it had been like right here, that'd have been a picture wrap on old Knoxville.
Luckily, Knoxville takes it all in stride, even laughing after telling the camera what the outcome could have been. Number 1, the finale, Jackass Number Two. The closing number of Jackass Number Two resulted in a slew of accidents and injuries. Preston Lacey was hurt after flying 20 feet into a camera stand. Knoxville was crushed by a prop building after panicking and moving away from the cutout window. But perhaps the worst fate befell Ryan Dunn. Dunn and Bam were yanked off their feet by a horse, and Dunn injured his shoulder in the landing. The injury resulted in a life-threatening blood clot, as the clot was situated near his heart and brain. The treatment and stress caused Dunn to become depressed, and he withdrew from the public eye for multiple years. It showcases both the physical and mental toll that Jackass has taken on its stars.
Please, God, don't let there be a Jackass 3.